Hello, my name is Ben Goldsberry and I'm joined by Matt Kozar, and we're going to briefly present changes to Chapter 121 of the 2021 FDOT Design Manual, which is the chapter on bridge project development. With that, Matt will discuss the first two changes.
To begin, we will start with modifications to Category 2 structure descriptions. FDM 121.3.2 is being modified to clarify bridges with superstructure subject to application of wave loading will be considered a Category 2 detail. You'll note the language regarding, quote, bridge water crossings where scour has to be accounted for in the design, end quote, has been removed as a sole consideration for Category 2 classification when you have an otherwise Category 1 structure. Next is the change made to FDM 121.8 bridge analysis. Previously, the policy stated that the district structures design engineer must concur with the findings of the bridge analysis performed during the PD&E phase, regardless of whether the solution was Category 1 or 2. But now the findings of the bridge analysis must be approved by the District Structures Design Office or the State Structures Design Office as applicable in accordance with the responsible review authority clarified in FDM 121.5.
The next change is to Section 121.9.1. Through the Department's review of recent bridge development reports, it was found that GRS abutments and precast alternatives were sometimes not considered and were routinely eliminated from consideration without proper justification. Item 5 requires that a statement be provided in the BDR indicating the reasons why GRS abutments are not the most suitable foundation alternative. The change to Item 9 is an editorial change to be consistent with the Bdr Submittal Checklist, which can be found in Chapter 103. Under Section 121.10, Items 7 and 8 were added to the Bdr Submittal Checklist. Although these two items were already required to be addressed in the BDR, they are now explicit requirements on the BDR checklist. Item 11, existing bridge load rating, was added to this section to be consistent with the BDR checklist. Section 121.11.1 contained an outdated description of how review comments are to be conveyed and resolved, which has been replaced with a single sentence stating that all ERC comments are to be resolved to the department's satisfaction. Pay items and quantities will no longer be shown in the plans with the implementation of estimated quantities reports, or EQ reports. Refer to Chapter 902 for information on EQ reports. The implementation of EQ reports affected several locations throughout Chapter 121. For example, in Section 121.11.3, reference is made to the EQ report instead of summary of pay items and quantities. And in Table 121.14.1, the reference to summary of pay items has been deleted. The first part of Section 121.12 on independent peer review, or IPR, was reformatted for readability with only some minor changes to note. In Item 1, it was clarified that IPRs may be required for conventional projects and to consult with the SDO when determining the need for an IPR. The other change to note was in Item 2, where an IPR is required for CSIs, where the superstructure is subject to application of wave loads. This change was made to be consistent with the definition of Category 2 structures in Section 121.3.2 that Matt mentioned earlier. The paragraph shown here under Section 121.12 was expanded to clarify that peer reviews, when applicable, include the independent verification of global and local analyses considering all structural members, connections nodes, and boundary conditions consistent with the structure type.
One of the major changes is the new independent department review process for non-conventional projects, or in essence, design build projects. The independent department review, or IDR for short, going forward will take the place of the traditional independent peer review on design build projects. So rather than an independent consultant working for the design build team to perform a peer review, the IDR will be performed on the department's side, independently verifying the EOR's Category 2 structure design. You will note the changes to the blue box modification for non-conventional projects in FDM 121.12 and Table 121.14.3 footnote clarifying this change as well. The IDR, as mentioned, will be performed on structures on non-conventional projects. This new process was requested from our partners ACEC and FTVA in industry. The IDR will be performed for each design build project by a Rule 1475 of the Florida Administrative Code pre-qualified consultant from SDO's statewide GC contract. We are currently implementing the new process in construction's RFP boilerplate, and please note that this is a new process and will continue to be evaluated based on lessons learned from each project as we move forward. So what will this process entail? Well, to begin, after award, an IDR kickoff meeting between the IDR consultant and design build team will be held to discuss the various Category 2 details. A line-by-line component submittal report will be provided to the IDR consultant, and when possible, a design schedule so the department may have a general outlook of the submittal and review dates. A 60% submittal will be expected by the design build team to allow the department to begin building the independent analytical model. This is not an official submittal for review and comment, and the duration between the 60% and 90% submittals will be prescribed. Once the 90% submittal is provided, the review clock starts for the department and the IDR consultant officially kicks off their review. Comments will be provided by the IDR consultant at the conclusion of this review period. When the final submittal arrives, the design build EOR will provide a copy of IDR review, comment resolution, and noted changes between 90% and final submittals. After resolution of all comments, the IDR consultant will provide a signed and sealed certification letter documenting compliance within the limits of their negotiated scope. This effort is considered an extension of the State Structures Design Office Plans Review Group and a partnership between the design build team, IDR consultant, and the department.
If you have any questions, our contact information is shown here on this slide. Changes to Chapter 121 of the FDM. And to sign off, we leave you with a safety message on distracted driving. When driving, please focus on just that, driving. Please put down your phone. Thanks for watching.